Hey, what's up everybody? So thanks for checking out the channel today. It's been about a month since I've posted the small block Chevy build. It actually has gotten a lot of views. I'm really surprised, you know, with such a small channel. I don't have that many subscribers, but we've actually gained subscribers, I think, just from that video. So yeah, anything to do with small block Chevy seems to get a lot of views, which is cool, man. I appreciate all the new subscribers and, you know, people leaving comments and stuff. Most of the comments have been positive. You know, you always get a few negative comments, which I guess is part of it, but it's pretty cool. I appreciate you guys checking it out for sure. So this is going to be kind of like a part 2 of that video. As you guys may know, that motor actually went in this truck. This is a 1949 Ford F1. I know it's a Chevy motor in a Ford truck, but the owner has had this for like 30 plus years. It was sitting in the field and then it went to a barn for a long time, so it was not drivable at all. The motor was put in this truck way back when, and it was just easier to keep it that way. So as you guys know, on the first video, you know, we did a complete rebuild of that motor, and it is now sitting in this truck with a TCI turbo 350 transmission. And it's not finished yet. We're just going to be finishing it up. We got a few, you know, kind of smaller details, little stuff. You know, once you get towards the end of a build, you have a lot of little stuff you find, and that's kind of where we're at now. So I want to go ahead and kind of go over a few things, what we've done so far to this truck, and then I'm going to lower it down and show you what the motor looks like in there. He's not planning on painting this truck. He's going to leave it the way it is. So it's going to be kind of cool. You know, the truck's not going to look that nice, but it's going to drive good, it's going to run good, it's going to stop good, because all the suspension is in good shape. We did, if you go back, I will leave a link in the description below. Actually, I did a few videos on this channel when I first started the channel, of doing kingpins in this truck, doing the brakes and all that stuff. You know, we got new shocks on it, and you know, everything as far as the brakes go, everything on the brakes was replaced on this deal. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and lower this thing down and kind of show you what we got going on with this. I'm gonna turn the camera around here. So the first thing you notice, the lights on this, you know, these are obviously not original lights. These lights, I'd have to look up, I forget the name, the company that makes these. These are a typical 7-inch, you know, round light. That these lights are basically made for Jeeps. Okay, these are they're HID. They have a halo ring around them, and once we lower it down, I'm gonna go ahead and hook the battery up and power them on and kind of show you what they look like. They're really cool. And the reason we went with these is this truck didn't have turn signals. It didn't have turn signals, you know, back in the day. So we wanted to put turn signals on it. The customer wanted to put turn signals. The back lights, you know, have the brake lights, obviously, and then the running lights, you know, or the parking lights. And we went with the original replacement lights on the back with the original brackets and everything. And the wiring harness that we went with, I'll have to get a light so you can kind of see. We've already got all the wiring harness ran. We hooked up the side lights. He wanted those. They've been on there a long time, and you know, they do work. He's also got some lights up on the cab. We've got them hooked up as well. And I'll show you that once we get it lowered. All right, I had to get my light. So anyway, we've got these lights wired up pretty nice. We've got them all in wire loom, got them attached real nice there. We had to do a good ground on the lights. So as we came around with the harness, we kind of poked out of the harness right there, got a good ground for this light. And then the harness runs along here, and we got a good ground for the other light. We've got all the wiring harness running up. coming out and then going up to the lights. So these, like I was saying, you know, brake lights, running lights. Truck did not have turn signals. So we used American Auto Wire for the wiring harness on this. It's a universal kit that is basically set up for an old school vehicle like this. So it's got turn signal. I mean, it's got everything. You can run all kinds of stuff on this. So let me just show you from a bottom view here. If you look in there, you can see the fuse box. It's got a nice big fuse box on it, and it will run just about anything on the vehicle, you know. So we added the turn signal switch. If you look up on the column, we've got a turn signal switch there, one of them old style turn signal switches, and it's all wired in correctly with the brake light switch to get turn signals and brake lights on the back. Now on the front side of that turn signal switch, you would have turn signals on the front, and also running lights. It has another, the headlight switch has another wire that comes off of it for running lights, which would be for the front only. So since this truck didn't have turn signals, it obviously didn't have any lights on the front for turn signals, or running lights for that matter. So what we did is we went ahead and ran that wire that came on the wiring harness up to the front for running lights. That same wire is tapped into the lights up on the cab and the lights on the sides. He wanted those to work. And then we tapped the running lights into this halo ring right here. This halo is a white light, okay? It's just it's like a white running light as a halo. And then the turn signals for the front tap into another wire that turn this halo into an amber flasher. So these particular ones will have, you can use the amber for flashers, turn signals, and you can use the white for a running light or a daytime running light. You don't have to if you don't want to, but these lights are set up that way. So it's really cool. And I'll show you how they work here in a minute. But that's how we pretty much was able to get his turn signals on this truck, is by going with these lights. We thought it would just be kind of cool to have something like that on this old truck. Plus we didn't have to add a second light in here, which we could have, but for the same amount of money is to add these lights with the labor, of course, and the parts cost. It was a little bit more money to buy this setup and install it, and it looks cool. Okay, so I want to show you, before I lower the truck down, we'll just kind of show you the bottom, what it looks like here with this engine in it. It looks pretty cool. We did do new motor mounts. We did a new transmission mount. We had to do a little modification on the transmission cross member because it was a solid cross member. The only way to get this transmission out is you'd have to pull the motor out. The transmission sat on top of the cross member. This cross member was all hacked up, but we pretty much cut the rest of it off. We welded on some nice thick L channel, and now we can actually remove the cross member to get transmission out. So, but anyway, as you can see, it's the same transmission that we used in the previous build. These are really nice transmissions. You know, this thing holds 575 horsepower. It's got a nice little shift kit in it. You know, we're definitely using a vacuum modulator. I got an actual metal tube for the modulator. We still have to run it up, and still got to put the housing, the speedometer housing in. And this wire is for the gauge cluster that we put in it. It's got a programmable speedometer gauge, and I'll show you that here in a minute. We do have a cover that will go on the bottom. We just haven't put it on yet, to cover the torque converter. That's a 3000 stall converter, as you can see. and was able to use his old starter. It still works fine. We've also got a support bracket that's going to go right here. We're going to put that on. Those support brackets are definitely needed. Them starters are heavy, you know. It's a lot of guys don't run them, but it's good to have them on there. Fuel pump, it's a little bit close to this. Somebody welded this support rod on here. Just I guess they said the frame was flexing a lot, but they put that on there, took care of it. I could have clocked this fuel pump a little bit more to the front to clear this a little bit more, but I just kind of liked where it was, so we're going to give it a try and make sure it doesn't you know, hit that rod at all once it's running. But yeah, it's pretty cool. We found these headers, ceramic coated headers. They basically just drop right down and they fit perfect in this situation. You know, they get a little close right there on the frame, but there's enough room, it doesn't hit. And this side was the one that we was worried about because it comes right down through there. The other headers that they had on this truck was some long tubes, and they had to beat them up pretty bad to fit, to clear the steering column, so, or the steering shaft there. We didn't want to. I tried looking for some headers that looked just like them or similar, but man, I spent hours and I had a hard time finding anything that looked like that was going to clear. And then I found, I was going to go with the, they call them block hugger headers. They go straight down. They would come in and go straight down the center. And I could have used those, but when I found these, man, they just seemed like they would fit perfect. And they did. They just fit perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better fitment. So that's the ones we went with. So we got lucky there. Lower this one down. We still gotta bleed the brakes. We got one more brake line to put on the passenger side rear. I actually had to get a new Y block for the rear axle, and because the old one was stripped out. So I've actually got it laying right over there on my workbench or my toolbox. Let me lower this down here. We're keeping the tires off of it, of course, until we get it bled out, but I think we're going to keep them off because we can really lower this truck down, and it's easier to work on this thing. So this is radiator. It's a 2-core radiator. He bought this brand new a long time ago, and it was only in the truck just a very short time. It's pretty clean. It's in good shape. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to see if this thing will not run warm. It should be fine, because he didn't want to go with an electric fan, so we went with this flex fan. This one is a heavy duty flex fan. It draws a lot of air, so we're going to give that a shot. And oh yeah, there's the old headers that we did not want to use. These are the old transmission cooler lines. We're going to clean them up and use them, because we have a nice transmission cooler that's going to go on the front of this. Let's see, where is the other part here? Okay, so this is a universal fan shroud that we're going to put on it. It is stainless steel, and it's flexible, and it basically goes on just like a transmission cooler would. You've got your plastic zip ties, as I call them, that zips through the radiator. So that's going to be cool. We're going to have a nice little fan shroud on this thing. hose, we got a few things here. This is the spacer that was on his old engine. We cleaned it up and painted it, and it's going to work out perfect with that fan. We've already kind of fitted it on there to make sure it doesn't hit the radiator, so it works out really good. We had to get a new alternator. His alternator was shot. We cleaned up and painted the brackets, the pulleys. Had to get a new thermostat housing. This carburetor he had, we cleaned it. We took it apart and rebuilt it, cleaned it up. We're using a Protronics HEI distributor for this one. The flamethrower, I use these in a lot of builds. They come in different configurations. We just went ahead and went with the HEI on this one. This is the oil pressure sending unit that goes with the gauge that we installed. And come on over here, and this is the sending unit for the temperature gauge that goes with the instrument cluster, the gauge that we installed. I still have these loose. I haven't tightened these up yet. That's why these are like this. But yeah, we've got everything ran real nice in wire loom. We've already got the positive from the battery going down and the ground going down. This is going to be the fuel line that's coming up off the fuel pump, and it's actually going to sit like that. I've got one of these Edelbrock fuel line feed kits that goes on there. This is going to be, you know, something like that, and then the filter will be on the end of it right there. It's a 6AN, and then the fuel line is going to go on the end of the filter just like that. And once we get all that set up, it'll look good. We'll make sure everything's secured. I'm going to pull this one out. I've got a 90. Let's see, where's that one at? I got laying somewhere, but anyway, I've got a 90-degree nipple. It's actually a tall one. It comes up a little taller at 90s, so I'm going to have the heater hoses running back. And because it's kind of weird, it's got one outlet here for the heater, and then it's got one way over here for the heater. So we're going to have to do something and make this look a little bit better, because I don't know how that's going to look with a hose running across this cap here. So we're going to do something with that. I might do some kind of a 90, because I do have a short piece of heater hose that is an actual 90. Actually, it comes out and curves back, so I'm thinking I'm going to put it here. I may cut this off because there's not even a flare or anything on these, so I'll probably end up cutting this off shorter, putting a little flare on it with my flare tool, and then that way it won't, you know, come off with pressure, which it probably wouldn't anyway. But yeah, we're gonna figure something out there, because I want to make sure I want it to kind of come around here and then meet up beside this one, so I can run both of them together along here. So yeah, as you can see, the headers look pretty good in there, man. They fit really well. See, on this side, this was the one I was really concerned about, this side, because of that steering box, but it fits really good. But yeah, this thing has, you know, it's pretty accessible in here. This is basically, these are maxi fuses, high amp maxi fuses that came in the wiring harness. We mounted them right here. This wire feeds the fuse box. This one goes down and hooks into the battery terminal on the starter, and then of course the starter cable, the battery cable comes up off of that same terminal and goes to the battery. That's pretty much how they tell you to install it. And then this one goes to the alternator. It runs to the back of the alternator, basically a one wire alternator. And so when this is basically feeding power to the both of these fuses. These fuses are tied together right here, so that's why there's only one on this side and two coming out on that side. So these are all the wires that go to the back. The brake light switch is actually on the master cylinder underneath the floorboard, and then the rest of them go to the rear tail lights. And then also we have the wires in there that are feeding the speedometer on the transmission. So the rest of them are running up through here. We have, this is a horn. We're going to mount the horn in here somewhere. We've got two horns, and that's what that is for. And yeah, so let me show you inside here. Okay, I want to show you what we got going on inside here. So we got the that's the instrument cluster that we put in, new gauges from Dolphin Gauges. So these are pretty cool. We did have some issues with them. You know, I don't know, I like them, but then there's some issues that I don't like, mainly with the fuel sending unit. And we put these gauges in another build. They basically do pretty much old car and truck stuff. You know, they do a billet aluminum or stainless steel bezel, and then they have their own gauges that go in there. And the gauges are pretty cool. You know, they have either a mechanical speedometer with a cable, or you can get an electrical one that's programmable. That's what this button is for, to program it. And it's a digital readout on this one. This gauge has, you know, volts, oil pressure, water temperature, and fuel gauge. And then the one in the center is the tachometer. These are the indicators for the lights. So that would be the turn signal. Of course, this also has the turn signal on it, on the actual switch. That's the right turn signal. And then you have hazard. So those are pretty cool. We've got a horn button right here. Got that hooked up. Shifter, we don't have to cover on it yet. We're just kind of doing some finishing up some wiring on there. The sending unit for the fuel gauge, we're just going to have this attached to the floor under the seat. It's going to come up and go in there. And this is one of the issues that we have with this company. So they sell you a universal fuel sending unit that you pretty much have to make yourself. You have to make it work. This particular one does not fit the tank. And basically what they tell you to do is they want you to use the factory sending unit that drops in there, and they want you to, this will actually unbolt off of this one, and they want you to cut off the excess metal, and they want you to tack weld that on to the original sending unit. Well, that doesn't work so well. That doesn't work so well. We had an issue with the other car that we did. I got it to work. We was able to get it working, but I had to pull that sending unit in and out of that tank 4 or 5 times, and it still doesn't read correctly. There's no way that it would read correctly. What they need to do is they need to basically sell you a sending unit that will bolt right into the tank. That's just the way they need to do it. For what they charge for these, they're not that bad, but they are kind of expensive. What they charge for them, they should have a sending unit for the vehicle, for the tank. So what we're having to do on this, it just is too big. This hole is too big. So we're having to make a plate that will bolt to this hole, and then we're going to have to open up the hole in the plate for the sending unit to go down in, and then there's going to be only a couple holes that's going to line up. So we'll have to figure something out to seal both plates on there.
So that's something that we're actually doing. That kind of stinks, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, I just wanted to show you. We've got the wiring kind of all tidied up. You know, that's the heater box. Hopefully the heater core doesn't leak. He says it used to work back in the day. And then we've got the fuse panel. That's the high-low switch right there. So yeah, pretty cool kit, man. Pretty cool kit. All right, we've got this thing set up. I want to turn these lights on and show you how they look. Now, like I say, these are designed for Jeeps. They're basically set up for Jeeps. They had a plug and play that plugs right into the Jeep harness for all of the features. They may sell a light that was universal, but I couldn't find them on the website. So I called the company, talked to one of the technicians there, and he gave us the color coding of the harness and told us which wire fed the amber halo and which one fed the white halo. So that was cool. As far as the headlights, that was just a 3-prong that plugs in, no biggie. But yeah, let me turn it over here and we'll get these lights fired up. Go ahead and turn the parking lights on. So we ran, as you can see, the parking lights, the top lights, the halos, the side lights, and the tail lights. Tail lights are on a different circuit, of course, than the parking lights. Oh yeah, you don't want to hit the brakes. We don't have the brakes done yet. So anyway, we got brake lights. Go ahead and do the left turn signal. See, we got turn signal on this one. This one here is also going to be a tag. I got to get a tag bracket because it has the clear lens for the tag on this one, but not on that one. So there was a left and a right. And then this is what's cool. As you can see, the white halo does not turn on, and it basically is an amber halo for the turn signal. All right, do the other side. See, the other side changes, and then that one, as soon as you turn the turn signals off, the amber halo goes away and the white amber comes back on. All right, turn it off. See, it comes right back on. And do the headlights. So that's your headlights. The amber is going to stay on because obviously they're tied into the parking lights. We actually thought about connecting them to a separate switch so you could turn the halos off with the headlights on, but it really doesn't matter. All right, do the high beam and then low beam. It's kind of hard to, I'm sitting there looking at it through the camera. It was hard to see the difference, but when you're physically looking straight at the lights, you can definitely tell high beam and low beam. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. He can run around. Okay, you can shut them off. Yeah, those are pretty cool, let me tell you. Let me show you the seat. The seat that was in this thing is the one on the bottom. It is tore up, and it does not have a frame. The frame was completely gone off of it. So they customer got some prices on getting that seat redone, and they wanted a lot of money to redo that seat because it's totally wasted. Plus we would have had to spend the money on a frame. So he found this seat. Apparently any small truck, S10 Rangers, you know, maybe, you know, little Toyotas, whatever, they all fit. So this came out of a Ranger, about a 1988 Ranger, I think he said it was. It's in good shape. It's just got a couple little tears, and these things fit in there really well. So he's gonna basically put a seat cover over it and go with it. Nice and simple. He paid, I don't know, $55 for it, I think. So that's pretty cool, and it's gonna fit in there good. I'm not sure if he's gonna even put carpet in this. He's probably gonna put some kind of a rubber mat in it, I'd say. Not sure, but yeah, that's pretty much, you know, where we're at on this deal. I've got some other stuff. I've already got, you know, plug wires. I've got a nice breather going on it. We still got a little finishing up to do here. It's going to turn out nice. And then of course we'll be cranking this thing up for the first time. So I just wanted to show you guys where we're at so far on this deal. You know, it's coming along good. Definitely is. You know, we've got a box full of parts. Actually, I got them on the shelf over there. Got a box full of parts for this. Here's the cover for the shifter. You know, all this stuff here. Here's the ball for it. So it's pretty cool. That shifter it's all black instead of the chrome. It's a black chrome handle. You know, we just thought it would be a little bit better to have a black chrome handle in there instead of chrome, you know, because there's nothing, you know, crazy about the interior on this truck. So, but yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I just wanted to show you guys what we had going on this old truck. It's kind of exciting, man. I'm getting anxious to finishing this thing up, getting it started. Here's the hood sitting here on the floor. Oh, and the tailgate. He's got the original tailgate. I've got it in the storage in the back here. We've got everything we need for the tailgate. I ordered everything from LMC Truck. That's where I got the lights and a few things. We got vent windows. We're putting in new vent windows. As you can see, the vent windows are missing. And we've got the complete kit, vent window kit. It comes with the windows, it comes with the one metal, I don't know what you'd call it. It's actually this here. It comes with this, the window, the locks, the seal, everything. So we got to put those on. We've got the attachments that attach the tailgate to the bed. We're gonna have to do a little bit of modification for that. We've got the attachment on the top with the chains, so it's going to be just like it was back in the day. I think they're all in this box right here. Yeah. Well, this is some of the stuff we still got to finish up on it. There's the cover for the transmission, and oh, lug nuts. We got lug nuts. So we've got brand new tires for the back. I've already mounted them and balanced them. These are the wheels. So we got new lug nuts for the back. The front tires are just regular steel wheels. We just got the regular lug nuts for them. So it's coming together. Towards the end, you know, you kind of start having to make a list, kind of a punch list to kind of get a few things that you need to finish this up. So kind of like building a house. Towards the end, you got to make a little punch list to finish the job up, you know. So, all right, I appreciate you guys checking the video out. Like I say, this is going to be part 2 of the small block Chevy roller motor build. So, you know, be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave some comments if you'd like about this old truck. And then we'll have a third and final video of this once we're ready to fire this thing up. So definitely stay tuned for that. I do appreciate you all checking us out, and we will catch you on the next video.